Hey there, girlfriend. Ingafay here. Super excited to be with you today. For those that don't know me, I am a confidence coach and beauty enthusiast. And today I am so excited to share another one of my girlfriends with you. We're talking about self care again. You know, I'm all about that. And today, my coaching girlfriend, Tiffany, is with us. She is a certified life coach, a fitness trainer, a visionary author, as well as a 3 times best-selling author. And she's the editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, which is all about elevating your mind, your body, and your spirit. Tiffany shares a holistic approach to diabetes management through diet, exercise, and meditation, as well as a few other natural ways to balance your body. So without further ado, I'm so excited to introduce you to my girl, Tiffany, and we'll see you inside. What's up, Tiffany?
What's going on? How are you, Inga?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm doing good. I'm so excited to have you here today. So before we go into how to recreate yourself, I wanted you to tell us a little bit more about your story, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them.
Of course, again, I am Tiffany Parra. Gotta roll the R's. From sunny Southern California. I got into my health journey really into health and wellness by my own health journey. I serve women and men who are just stuck on that hamster wheel of life, just really trying to find that way to balance themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, as well as financially, because that's where I was broken. And that's where I was able to really just, find my way through it by mindset coaching and just a lot of various things that I now put into practice in my own coaching, different teas and all sorts of different things that I could tell you about. So I love what I do. I love to serve, again, everyone. I do really focus on women because, I'm a woman, and also I focus on women that are over 40 because, we got a whole lot of different problems going on.
Yes.
So that's really my core group of people that I support and just love on. So again, thank you so much for letting me just come on here. I'm just so excited and good.
Oh, girl, I love your spirit. I always have. It's amazing how our mess is our message, right?
Yes.
So we're going to get into that today. So tell us, well, you kind of already told us about this, but give us a little bit more details, girl. We want to know the true backstory on how you got started in health and wellness, how your journey got started.
So back in 2008, I was on a routine doctor's checkup. We got to try and stay on top of those every single year. Get that blood work done, get the mammograms, get the pap smears for women, get the, prostate check for men, all that stuff that we don't like to do. But I went in there and got the blood work back, and my doctor had some pretty grave news. He's like, you know what? If you keep on this pattern of life,
wow,
you will die early. You will lose limbs. You will have all these issues. I mean, my blood sugar was through the roof. My blood pressure was high, my cholesterol. And I mean, I was an athlete in high school, so I knew what to do. I mean, I got lazy with life. We all tend to do that. We're moms, we're dads, we're business owners. We're a little bit of everything. We wear so many hats, right?
Right.
And when I got that diagnosis, instead of me sitting back and feeling sorry for myself, I said, no, hold up. You got the answers. You had gestational diabetes when you were pregnant. And y'all know about that. Y'all know about that gestational diabetes, ladies. That's the worst diet ever. A stick of string cheese and 12 almonds, please. Come on now. But I had to, because, I knew that I had to make some changes. I mean, I had a 5-year-old son, so I couldn't go anywhere. But when I looked at it, I was in toxic everything. I was in a toxic relationship. I was in a job that it was a great job. It paid me well, but it had a almost 2-hour one way, sometimes more commute one way. I'm on the road 4 hours, 5 hours a day. And that drives people crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, it took me a while to really get myself going, but I changed my eating habits, went back to that diet, tweaked it though, because I said, if I want some candy, I'm not going to deprive myself of anything, because when you deprive yourself, that's when you binge on it. So if I gave myself a little chocolate, but I portion sized everything, I got in control of just that, because these days, portion control, it's non-existent. You know that, Eddie. I mean, you go into a fast food place and you ask for a small and you get a large. You ask for a large, you get this big old huge, thing. And it's just like, wow, it'll feed a family of 12, you
Exactly.
know? I mean, and it's ridiculous, but that's our reality today. And that's why we have so much obesity here in the United States.
Right.
So I just took my life back. I started exercising. I mean, I was an HR manager, so I sat behind my desk constantly dealing with everybody else's problems.
Mm-hmm.
I was cool with helping everybody else, but how about helping me? Right? I put myself to the side all the time. So
Wow.
I had to put myself in the forefront. That was the first and foremost thing I had to do. Put myself first.
Right.
And once I put myself first, started making these changes, started walking, started feeling myself, I got a coach and she was like, well, you know what? When you walk past the mirror, I want you to be like, hey, sexy. And that was a hard thing for me to do because I'm like, hey, Now, I mean, you catch me now in the mirror, shoes. Hey,
I know that's right, girl.
I got my outfit on and it's on point. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling good. But back then it was so different. So just making those little changes, changing the eating habits, changing the mindset. I added affirmations in. I had sticky notes all over the house. I mean, it was crazy. I think my family thought I was crazy. But it really just changed my mindset and it started to change me physically, and with that, I mean, again, I changed mentally. Then I was really on a spiritual kind of, I grew up in a religious family. My grandfather was a preacher. My mother always had us in church and things as well. So as I got older and had that choice, I was like, now, maybe later, but I had to find that again too. Right. And once I found that again, it was like everything started to balance. It was like, that's why I talk about just different areas, in fitness, because it's, physical, mental, spiritual, financial. If you're not financially fit, you can't take care of yourself, and give yourself the good food because it costs a little more, or you can't give yourself that gym membership, right? So
it's funny that you brought that up because I was going to ask you about it. I know you had told me that initially, that there were 4 focuses, or really 4 areas of fitness that you focus on. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know you kind of told us briefly what they are, but go on a little bit more in depth.
Sure. So the physical aspect of it, of course, is going to be getting active. I mean, as we get older, we lose that muscle, we lose that bone mass. We have to keep ourselves moving, and that's the physical part of it, but also feeding yourself the right things, making sure that when you go to the doctors, that blood work is on point, watching the sodium. I mean, I look at labels all the time. I mean, it probably gets on people's nerves, but I need to know what's going in my, in my belly and in my mouth. And I look at the simplicity, if the smaller the ingredients, the less ingredients, the better, and that's really how I, lead my life. So that's the physical part of it, getting up, getting active, giving yourself that right food. And then you've got that mental aspect of it. You cannot get up and get active and feed yourself right and feel like you want to take care of yourself if you're not mentally right about yourself. If you're depressed, I mean, I was depressed, I wouldn't even half the time want to do my hair. I mean, people at work could tell that I was depressed because sometimes I wouldn't even iron my clothes. And I was even as I was going through the journey and the weight was starting to come off, it was really funny because I kind of got stuck because I was wearing the big clothes and I was wearing all these baggy things because I was still afraid to come out of that shell. But again, that was just that mental. As I started meditating and, I started doing some research. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I started listening to Dr. Joe. I started listening to Bob Proctor, dove into Lisa Nichols. Oh my gosh, that's my shero, and I just really started surrounding myself with positive stuff because I needed that. And once I did that, I wanted to get up. It wasn't like, when that alarm goes off, Lord have mercy, gotta get up. Oh God, snooze. Almost
I remember
again.
that.
You're snoozing 3-4 times.
Yes.
And then finally you're up, and now you're up and you're in a frenzy because now you're running late.
Running late, exactly.
So then it was that spiritual side of it, was getting back to church, getting back around people that had that connection as well. And that could really, kind of help balance me, show me what I was missing. So, really, I started, reading the Bible again. And I just really started focusing more on finding balance there and really finding the relationship that I needed for myself with, God. I mean, whoever that is that you are connected to, that source, you need to really, really connect to that source, because that gives you that sense of purpose.
Yes.
So, and that gives you, when you have that sense of purpose, you want to fix your mind because you want to be able to have that clarity, right? And when you fix your mind, again, you want to get up, you want to have fun. I mean, I started dancing and I have no rhythm. My husband will tell you, I am probably, my husband is a mixed descent. He's got a whole lot in him, and he'll take, babe, you were like one of the only Black women I know that have a lick of rhythm. And I'm like, but I'm trying. I mean, I know I got Carlton syndrome, sorry, but I mean, hey, but you have fun with it.
Exactly. So, it's all about having fun now. Come on now.
And then that financial side, again, if you can't feed yourself well, if you can't buy the books that you need to help you, if you can't invest in a coach or a trainer, it makes the journey a little harder. Yeah. So that's all in just a nutshell of just how I created I guess I'll call it an ecosystem for my business in helping people. And what I now do is I find other professionals out there that are that subject matter expert. I don't know it all in these 4 areas, but I have a passion for finding others that do, so I can promote them and help them grow their businesses as well.
Awesome. Okay, so just to reiterate, so I think I got this right. So we got the mental, we got the physical, we got the spiritual, and the financial. So those are the 4 areas, right?
4 areas.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Spot on. So that was good, girl. I like that. All right. So when it comes to some of the mistakes that people have made in the past that you've seen, throughout your career as a fitness trainer, even as a coach, because I'm sure you see it there too. What makes people really want to start on that journey of the better health? Is it the report from the doctor saying, hey, you need to make a big change, or is it something else? Does it have to be that kind of dramatic to really wake people up? Although some people are not woke up even with that. So
yes, I mean, it really depends, because like you said, some people, they go to their demise. They, unfortunately, because they don't listen to their body and get connected there, and listen to when you go to the doctor and they say, hey, you know what, these things are high. Why don't you take some steps to lower these, because this is where you need to be. Right. And I think the biggest mistake that people make is not listening to their body and really connecting and listening to themselves, because your body's going to tell you what's wrong. Yep. I was getting tingling in my feet and numbness sometimes before I went to the doctors. And that was probably within, that 6-month period of going into him, it started happening and it started being more frequent. And I'm just like, oh, well, it's because I'm sitting at my desk for too long. I need to get up more. My feet are falling asleep. No,
exactly.
No, that's something else. When it's more frequent, and that's something else. You have to really look at that. If you have a pain, or, I was getting lightheaded, where I was about to pass out sometimes. So, that's also that blood sugar, the blood pressure, that's a silent killer. We all know it.
Right.
And I was starting to also I had red in my eye on both sides. And that was those blood vessels that were just, because my blood pressure was so high, it was affecting my eyes. And I finally had done some research on that, and it was like, see, that's a sign of high blood pressure too. Wow. So when you have red eyes, if you haven't gone out and been drunk or anything like that, and you're not hungover, I mean, come on, or you don't have allergies, you gotta look at something here. Right. Right. That when it's constant, every single day you get up and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, my eyes are red.
Yeah. Wow.
Something's wrong.
So I'm curious, what made you go? I mean, what made you go to the doctor? Was it someone saying, look, girl, you didn't have some issues? Or was it just, the Holy Spirit, the little small voice that we hear that says, you need to go to the doctor? What was it that led you to go?
Well, it was the annual checkup, but I had already kind of procrastinated a little bit on that. So it was a few months past the annual, and it was
Okay.
really that voice. I mean, it was the Holy Spirit. I mean, really, because that's who always knocks me on my head.
Oh yeah.
Daughter. Okay.
Yep.
And that was what it was. And it was like, I kind of had a feeling that something was up,
Yeah.
but I'm like, nah, you know what? Not me. Like, I'm good. But I knew I was eating fast food all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
because I was on the road all the time. So I would be grabbing things either from the gas station, or I'm grabbing things from McDonald's because it's right next to my job, or,
Right.
the In and Out right there. And again, it really started taking that toll. So that's what got me, was just that voice saying, go ahead and go in. You're already a few months late. See what
Right.
happens. And
Yeah.
as I'm waiting for that blood work, because it takes a few days for them to get it back, it kept running through my head like, something's up, something's up. So when he
Yeah.
told me, yeah, it was a shock. It was like a gut punch, but it was like, you knew you weren't living right. You knew this was coming. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, even with the toxic relationship I was in, I knew I
Mm.
didn't need to be in the toxic relationship. It was the house Stella got her groove back moment. Dude was like 6-7 years younger than me. I mean, I was like, hey, okay, I met him on MySpace back in the day. I'm dating myself, but it
Right.
was just like, oh my gosh, And when I started getting healthy, he and I just really started arguing more. And it's like, well,
Ah.
man, like, if I wanted somebody like skinny, I mean, I don't like that kind of thing. You'll get too skinny. It's like, what do you mean? Like, this is my health. Come on now,
Right.
and at that point, it was like, okay, I know where you're at with this, and you're not where
Wow.
I'm at. So we'll see you.
Yep. Yep. It's
I joke
amazing
around
how.
sometimes with it. I tell people, I lost almost 120 pounds, but I also released another
Wow.
280.
Yeah, but see, like, yeah, you do that. It's amazing how when you meet people, there are people that are lifetime type of associations, and then there are people that are only there for a season. And I
Yeah.
guess that guy that you were dating at that particular time in your life was for a season. And as you started taking better care of yourself, it probably made him more aware of some things that were going on with him too, that he may not necessarily wanted to face. And because
Right.
you were facing it head on, he felt uncomfortable and didn't want to be around that,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in your opinion, what is one of the biggest keys to recreating yourself? Because that's what this is all about today. And I wanted to make sure we hone in on that too.
I think the biggest thing in recreating yourself is believing in yourself.
Ah,
Because we can do everything and anything. We were put here to make miracles. We
right.
were. And if we just believe it, whenever you hear that, you believe it, you can achieve it. That is so true. I mean, if you believe that you can climb that mountain, if you really believe it, you're going to achieve it, because you're going to work at making sure you get there, and you're going to visualize it. And I think, when I started teaching people how to visualize and really believe in themselves, like, see yourself there.
Right.
See yourself skinny, if you want to be skinny. See yourself, running that marathon, going across that finish line, breaking through it. See yourself there.
Right.
And once you start doing that, everything changes. I mean, I ran a full marathon back in 2015. I never
Wow.
thought I would ever be a runner.
26 miles?
Now 26 miles. It took me 5 hours and 22 minutes. And I'm just like,
Wow.
You ran that. Like, and there were times where I started to not believe that I could do it. I got to mile 19 and my body was like, nope, we can't do this no more. The legs are shaking.
Wow.
I'm in pain. Okay.
I'm
My
sure.
Achilles are on fire. And there was a lady that came out, because we're going through the neighborhood. And this little lady came out. She had to have been in her 70s. And she came out with this icy hot spray. And she's like, you got it. You can do it. You got it. And she's just
Oh, that
spraying
is so
my
cool.
legs. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I can do it. And she gave me that belief back in myself, because she believed I could do it. I was like,
Right.
I can. I got this. And that gave me just that boost that I needed to finish those last 7 miles. And when I
Wow.
got through that finish line, I was just like, see, I told you you could do it.
Yes.
I told you. So
Yeah,
just
I'm sure.
believe in yourself. Believe in your abilities.
Yes. And I'm sure when you did that, it was definitely a moment I'm glad I did, more so than I wish I had. Because I think we get so caught up in how we're feeling at that particular moment, but we also
Yeah,
have to rethink about what our future self would think about us.
that's
And
right.
when she gave you that momentum, or really that encouragement to continue, when you finished, you were just like, oh, thank God for her.
I sure was. I sure was. I said I was trying to figure out like which street it was on because I'm like, I really just want to go
Want to
back
tell
there.
her
I want to
thank
get her
you.
address, something,
Yes.
send her thank you card, and just let
Yes.
her know how much she touched me that day and how much she was just that boost I needed to get
Right.
past that finish line. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yes. 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 So, before we close, girl, I wanted just to ask you, is there any final thoughts that you would like to share with my audience about recreating yourself outside of the belief? Because, I mean, you've had a journey. I mean, you lost 120 pounds. That's a person. You actually lost a person. So, just that is phenomenal in itself. So, yeah, enlighten us, inspire us to do the things that we want to do, but may not necessarily think we can do, like you just talked about.
I mean, really just knowing that, okay, again, just focusing on those four aspects, right? Even if it's just a little bit every day, focus
Right.
on being 1% better in each one of the areas, physically, mentally, spiritually, as well as financially. 1%. And think about it, that 1% in a month, that's 30%
Yes.
that you focus.
Yep.
And then you just, just like I did with run, I started with a mile, then I did 2 miles and 3 miles, then all of a sudden a
Right.
marathon, years later. But if you just keep at it little by little, regardless of what plateau you hit, because that's another thing that people do. They hit a plateau or they go up a little bit in weight. Hey, you know what? It might be water weight. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Right.
about it. Or maybe it's the holidays and you went up a little bit. Just don't be hard on yourself.
Right.
Give yourself grace. And
Yes.
have faith in your abilities because you got this. You got this.
Yes. It is definitely the small wins that gets us through. That's what definitely gets us through. So I wanted to share your Facebook group for your magazine here. So tell them a little bit about you do inside the group. And I guess I'll put all of this down in the description so you guys don't have to worry about writing it down.
Thank you. Thank you. So Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, again, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. We are a magazine that focuses on getting you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit. I have gone really virtually around the world, finding some of the most amazing subject matter experts to come in and talk about gut health, to talk about brain health, to talk about DNA and how your DNA is set up and what you need to do to get healthy with your particular DNA. There's coaches, there's neurotransformational therapists. I mean, there's so many people that have come to contribute to the magazine. We are a digital magazine. We are monthly. We also do have paperback as well. This is one of them here with Dr. Shelley Hipsky on the cover there. We have covers available. Just help people that are in the health and wellness field that want to be seen and really want that boost in their visibility. We are on the Own It magazine platform, and we are the only physical fitness magazine that's on the Own It platform right now. So we're just excited to be able to kind of dominate in that way and really, really show people how to elevate their mind, body, and spirit.
Awesome. So you guys can check out the description below. It has all of her social media handles that you can get in contact with Tiffany. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for enlightening us today and breathing belief in my audience and letting them know about the 4 areas of fitness, as well as the one thing that will help them recreate themselves, which is belief. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.